Welcome to my new episode of the Growth Invitation, where we bring to you all of the most amazing people around to tell you about their growth journey, to inspire you, to encourage you, and also to celebrate them and their journey. So today I have the absolute honor of bringing on Lucie, who is a French academic genius. And by genius, I really mean it. At the age of 25, she already has 2 bachelor's degrees and also 2 master's degrees. Welcome, Lucie.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's my absolute honor to have you here today. So today I brought on Lucie to tell us about her growth journey. Originally you come from France and then now you live in London, hence we're able to meet. So tell the audience and us about yourself.
I think I grew up already quite anxious, and so I was very, I don't want to say shy, but I didn't dare to do much things.
Okay.
Because I was scared constantly. I was scared that people, and especially my parents, would not love me. My parents were never very demonstrative people, like they've never told me they love me, for instance.
That must have been a really difficult journey as a child. So growing up in an environment where your parents never told you they loved you, how did that feel?
Very lonely, not necessarily alone, which is very interesting because today I think I enjoy having so much time alone that I never feel lonely. So it's became to the opposites. But yeah, I felt very lonely and very unseen, I think, and that I didn't really matter.
Especially, you said that you're a middle child, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think my sister can take a lot of space. And I was struggling to take my space. And so she would kind of take all the space, and the more she took and the less I did. So yeah, I think I was feeling very transparent in that, you know.
It wasn't quite like you were suicidal and you wanted to take your life, but it was more about the fact that you were happier not being seen.
Yes.
You wanted to be more invisible.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what I wanted, but that's definitely what I was.
Okay. And I love that because that was a was.
Yeah.
And you alluded to a little bit earlier about how you're like, oh yeah, I'm loving time and you don't feel lonely even when you are spending time with yourself. So there's obviously been a lot of growth journey in that, a lot of working hard on yourself, right?
Definitely.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, when I was 20, I moved away from my parents. I went to live in Rome. It was the first time that I was away from home. So
how was that?
It was challenging at the beginning, but it was amazing. Actually, the day I arrived in Rome, I called my dad and I started to cry. Because I guess that's when I realized, and also like, you know, it had been like 7 hours since the moment I had left home, hadn't eaten, I was exhausted, you know, like, yeah. And I remember also on the second day when I was going to look for a flat, and I went through this, on the bus through this gigantic place in Rome, and I told myself, what am I doing here? Why did I decide to leave? And then obviously like a few minutes later,
what are you doing with yourself?
Literally.
Why did you leave the comfort of your own home?
Exactly. And then yeah, a few minutes later I was like, no, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to discover, etc. I think back then I didn't realize how much also I wanted it kind of a new start for me, like being able to be whoever I wanted. But there was definitely that as well. And I think it kind of picked up that year. Like I really started to believe myself. And yeah, like it was an amazing year. I think the one thing though that started to happen a lot back then is that I started to have panic attacks, and although I think I already had anxiety, I think that's really the year where my anxiety was like terrible. Yeah, so like definitely a lot of growth, but also yeah, that part where something was not right. And then I came back home for the summer, and that summer my granddad died. And I think that's really when I started to have depression. I would spend hours in my room doing nothing in the dark in my bed, and I think that time was when I started to have very like suicidal ideas. And then I moved city to start my second bachelor. And I did have a few friends. I did knew a few people there and then made friends, etc. And basically one day, I was with two friends at the end of a party. I kind of opened about the fact that I was really not feeling good. But I also didn't want to reach out because, as I said, you know, I felt that my childhood was really uneventful, and so I didn't deserve to be helped because I hadn't been through much, you know. And then my friend said, but no, like it can be just a one thing, and like you still deserve help and you still like can reach out. And so yeah, I went to see a doctor who referred me to a psychiatrist, and from there I really started I guess that's when I really started my growth journey, mainly through therapy.
Wow, and I think that is such well, first of all, thank you for, you know, admitting to it that you needed help and recognizing the fact that at the beginning you were not ready or feeling worthy. I think there's a lot of people out there who feel like, yeah, but I didn't have this happen to me or that happened to me. But trauma can be, it doesn't have to be such an event that, you know, someone killed themselves in front of you or you were raped or anything like that. It can be something really small or uneventful, seemingly, but it's about the perception that you put and the association from an emotional perspective that you put onto that event that makes it traumatic. And what's been amazing hearing your story is that a lot of people may have thought that actually the growth journey had to start before you moved countries. Whereas yours, you must have had some sort of growth journey to actually want to leave the country. But the bigger and more eventful one was after you left, when you realized that actually I am alone and I don't like it.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's true actually, because when I finished high school, I think the first 2 years of uni were also very, you know, when I said earlier that I wanted to be whoever I wanted to be.
Yes.
I think that started also at uni because I arrived and I didn't know anyone. And I already could be more who I wanted to be. And also I was 18, I was starting to be an adult.
All those parties and...
Exactly. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So I think it started there, but also, yeah, it really is so yeah, I guess I got a bit more brave. I think also that I have always seen myself as very not courageous, and that's something I really wanted to change. And I thought that was the thing to be brave. And also I think it was, you know, I kind of wanted to go away from home. I guess I already knew in some way that I needed to go away from home, but because my uni was so close to my parents' house, obviously it did not make sense. So it was probably kind of a way to get myself out of there.
And you know, from what could be seemingly as unchallenging to certain people, just moving away for uni can have such a big impact, because then you can be like, actually there's no one here who knew who I was, and you can start showing up more as yourself. So tell us a little bit more about showing up as yourself, because this is such an intriguing topic for me. Showing up as yourself, for me, really relates to not just growth, but also self-love. And as you know, I'm a self-love coach. Showing up for yourself, being who you really are, being authentic to yourself is such an important part of our everyday life that we tend to miss it. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think it was maybe more coming from being deeply unsatisfied with my life and already being very sad and lonely and not wanting to be that. And kind of knowing who I actually was, but I didn't dare to show it. I think it also comes, as I was saying before, my sister tends to take a lot of space, and I think a lot of it came from not daring to take my space, and so shutting down completely and not, I don't want to say not being, but not being who I really was. And I think it just came from that deep sadness, because obviously I don't know how you can exist without being yourself, and it probably helped as well that I was with people, especially when I moved. I was living with two other young women my age and who are also Erasmus students, so on a foreign exchange. And we were very close, and I think they helped me in giving me a lot of love that I hadn't received at home. And that was probably, actually I can be loved for who I am and not only for who people want me to be.
That's absolutely amazing. Actually, having someone outside of your family, love can come from every different way that you can ever think about. And just having that community around you to demonstrate to you and celebrate you for exactly who you are is so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And it can be completely life-changing.
Yeah, for me it definitely was.
And actually now leading to having your own podcast called Ordinary Women and celebrating women, right?
Yeah. I think part of that also comes, from not having anyone to celebrate or share my successes with as I was growing up. So I guess through that podcast it's also a bit of probably comforting younger me by giving that chance to people who don't necessarily have it to share their successes and express themselves on what they're proud of, and having someone who listens and recognizes that.
How you managed to change something that was traumatic for you into something that is, okay, maybe everyone else can have that too. Maybe this is something that I can give to other people, and it's an absolute beautiful gift that you can give to not just the audience, but also the women that you're celebrating on your podcast. That is the ultimate sign and significance of growth and of self-love.
Yeah.
Amazing. So if there was one tip that you can give to my audience here around self-love or your growth journey, what would that be?
And can I give two?
Oh, that would be very greedy. Let's see, go for it.
I would say the first one is go to therapy. I mean, it quite literally saved my life. And I would say the second one is don't put too much pressure on yourself. You're a human being. The other day I said that sentence, I would say you're a human being, not a human is, not a human doing, and you have value by being. And it's okay not to do anything, and it's okay to, if you want to, go, and, obviously it's amazing to have goals and stuff, but I think it's important to remember that you don't get worth by doing, but by being. And so I would say, don't put pressure on yourself to go over your limits because you think that's what's acceptable only.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Had a great time. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And so for my audience there, I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.